everyone, welcome back to my channel. Hope you're all doing well out there. And today we are going to head into the Amazon rainforest. But before we take that trek, do me a favor, like, comment, and subscribe. Subscribe. I greatly would appreciate that. Also, as always, a shameless plug for my TeePublic store. I'll leave a link for that in the description box below. And today we're going to talk about a film I never planned on reviewing. I never planned on watching again. I've only ever seen this one time before. I watched it last night. And that was 27 years ago. My good buddy Rich, I had it on a VHS tape I had gotten off of eBay. But my son Troy, who you've met through Horror Talk Live, if you've been following this channel, really wanted to see this movie. He heard me talking about it. He asked me questions about it. And I said, you know what? One night I went on eBay and I got a copy of this movie. And I said, you know what? If he's going to watch it, I'd rather him watch it with me. And so that way I can explain things to him if he has any questions. We could discuss it afterwards. So last night we sat down in my living room and watched this movie. And the movie we're about to talk about, again, is not one I ever plan on reviewing or watching ever again. But that movie is Cannibal Holocaust. You can get it on this DVD. It's available. And you can also get it on 4K if you want, if you're a fan of this movie. We're going to discuss this film. Again, like I said, I saw this about 27 years ago on a VHS tape I got off eBay with my good buddy Rich. And it's been burned into my memory because if you've ever seen this film, you know why. It's a very notorious film for several reasons, which we'll get into in the trivia section of this film, or in this review. And it's a movie I never really felt the need to watch again. As a matter of fact, I remember the VHS tape. Friends of mine borrowed it off me. It kind of made the circles around my friend group back in Pennsylvania. And I don't know where it went to. I don't know which one of my friends still has it in their closet somewhere. But I never saw that VHS tape again, which is fine. I wasn't worried about it. But I picked up this DVD and we watched it last night. So we're going to get into Cannibal Holocaust. Now, I might butcher this director's name, but I'm going to give it a go. I've heard it several times. I try to look for interviews of some of the actors and try to figure out how to say this gentleman's name. Italian director Ruggiero Deodato. I think I said that right, but if I didn't, you can correct me down below in the comments. He had made films before this one, and he made films after this one. This is probably his most notorious film. He's known for several reasons, like, again, we will get into in the trivia portion of this review. There's a lot to go over on this film and how I feel about it, how other people may have seen it. There's some reviews out there on YouTube, for sure, but this isn't one that gets talked about a whole lot. Robert Kamen plays anthropology professor who goes into the Amazon rainforest looking for this film crew that was going in to shoot a documentary about a cannibal tribe, and they disappeared and were never seen from again. Carl Gabriel York plays Alan Yates. He is the director and the leader of this film crew. He is going into the jungle with his girlfriend and two other guys and their guide into the South American rainforest in Brazil looking for this cannibalistic tribe. That is what the plot is of this movie. So basically, at the beginning of the film, we jump back and forth from handheld documentary style film footage, which at the time, I mean, this was groundbreaking in a sense. Nobody really shot a movie like this. Yes, you could say Texas Chainsaw a little bit, but this was the first time really handheld documentary style footage was used in a film. And then later on, obviously, the most popular version of that would be the Blair Witch Project in the 90s that made a ton of money off a very low budget, but other films that utilized that as well, and in Paranormal Activity series and whatnot. But this, you got to give this movie credit for that. There's some things we'll take points away for as we get through this, because again, this is a very notorious film. Banned in many countries for a long time. Some countries unbanned it, but it's still banned in some countries to this day. So anyway, this professor goes down into the Amazon jungle to find try to track down what happened to this film crew. And before this film crew leaves, which is kind of why this filmmaker made this movie, they're getting good press, this filmmaking crew, about these brave Americans going into the Amazon rainforest to try to figure out, or try to find these tribes and bring back footage of these primitive tribes in the Amazon rainforest. And so they're painted in a very good light. But are they good people? I would say no, but we'll get into that. So they disappear. He goes in several months later with a guide, and the government is helping him get a guide. These two guys take him into the rainforest, and they meet up with this tribe. And they find They spend some time with them. They see some really awful stuff that this tribe does, but they don't know any better. You know, these people have never seen technology. They don't know what that is, some of the stuff these people brought. And they give them the film casters. They find the film casters of what the film crew shot while they were there. And they take it back to New York. And this is kind of where we get into the majority of the found footage, kind of documentary style footage of the film. Like I said, this movie goes back and forth from regular filmmaking techniques to found footage. But the second half of the film is where we see the more of the parts that are documentary style. And we see them watching the footage that this film crew shot, and we find out that they were doing some really awful stuff and committed awful crimes against this tribe, thinking they had power over them, and little did they know they did not, and they were basically massacred and brutalized in ways that are shown on film. You can watch this and see all of the carnage on display. And at the end of the film, they pretty much decide to burn the footage and not show it, because they were trying to make this into a special they were going to air to make some money off of, until they realized what this film crew did and what they caught on film, and decided not to go with it. And that was kind of what Deodato was going for. There were some documentaries about color revolution in Italy that were sensationalized, and he didn't think the press was telling the whole truth. They were glamming it up for views and to make money, and that was kind of what he was trying to do here. And you could see that here. I think it gets lost in some of the crazy ass shit that was filmed, that was put into this movie, but it's there for sure. And the film crew definitely aren't the good guys. Not like they were betrayed going off from this news guy that's talking about them, and they're definitely not the good guys. They do some terribly awful things as human beings, criminal things. I won't even say, because we can't say it on YouTube, but yeah, this movie goes there. That's why it's notorious. There's a part where this guy gets his manhood cut off, and it looks real. It looks like they actually did it. And I remember vividly, my buddy was eating a bowl of ice cream right at this exact moment. We had never seen this movie, so we didn't know what was in store for us. And in that moment, my buddy Rich's face turned pale white, and he almost threw up all over my parents' carpet. I remember that moment vividly. I'll never forget it. And a lot of this movie was burned into my memory, because I remembered 95% of it. There was only a little bit that I didn't remember when I watched this last night. So what to like about this film? This is not my type of movie. Cannibal movies aren't my thing, okay? So I'm going to say that up front. I've seen movies with cannibalism in it. This is probably the most extreme one I've ever seen. It's not a subgenre of horror that I really care about. This isn't my bag. While I find the filmmaking on display interesting, considering the moment in time when this was shot and released, I think I'm not a big found footage guy. I also don't like that style of filmmaking, but it's definitely effective here in this movie. And Deodato definitely captures some strikingly disgusting imagery on film and presents it to you in uncut and all in its gory glory. And they had a $100,000 budget on this thing, and it was released unrated, and the makeup effects look pretty convincing. There's a reason why people thought this was a snuff film, and Deodato was even questioned about murdering the actors in this film, and we'll get into that. Besides other illegal problems that he found himself into. I think that the guy who plays Alan Yates, York, is pretty good. Robert Kamen, who plays the professor, was actually in Debbie Does Dallas. He was in porno films, but then he got kind of redemption arc, and he was in regular movies then. He was in this one. He was in Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. He's a small role in that and other films over the years. He has since passed away. Not all the acting is good. I mean, this is supposed to be documentary style. I mean, when we see the film footage of our film crew. So you could forgive some of the acting because it's supposed to be documentary-like, but some of the acting is not the greatest, I will say. The special effects are very convincing. The ones that are special effects, it looks pretty damn real. It looks like I could see why people back then thought he may have killed people for real. It looks pretty damn convincing in most sections of the film. There's one or two shots that don't look convincing for the most part, though. it looks pretty damn convincing. Even Troy asked me when the movie was over, he goes, "Are you sure they didn't really kill anybody on film? Because it does look pretty damn convincing at moments in this film. And it goes hard. There's a reason why this is a very notorious movie. Is this the hardest hardcore movie I've ever seen? The way it's shot and the tone, I would say yes. The tone is not goofy. There's no satire here. It's played razor straight. So it's not played as a goof. Terrifiers go pretty damn hard, but you have art goofing around at the same time, which it kind of brings it back a little bit, makes it more palatable. Here, it's razor straight. It's some of the darkest shit people can do to each other caught on film. And so the tone in itself makes it just an unpleasant watch. I would say you can't, in my opinion, this is not an enjoyable film to sit through. It's more of an experience. It's not for everybody. Definitely not. A lot of people would watch this and say, what the hell's wrong with you for watching this? And I could see why. It's definitely not for everybody, and I wouldn't recommend it for everybody. This is like, if you're just looking for something that's dead serious to watch some of the most insane shit you've ever seen captured on film, I would say go for this one. But if you're not into that and you like a more Friday the 13th style, Halloween, stuff like that, more stuff you can sit down and be entertained by. This is not an entertaining movie in any sense of the imagination. You don't sit down and watch this film and could be entertained by it. This is not something you just throw on because you want to have a good time. There is no good time to be had with this movie, in my opinion. Even last night, it was hard to get through. It's just not a fun movie. It's not a fun movie to watch. Like, I could throw a Friday the 13th movie on and have a lot of fun with it. Even the Evil Dead movie, even the ones that go, even some other movies that go pretty hard, I can sit down and have a good time with them. This one is not a fun movie because of the way it was shot and the tone. Make it a very unpleasant watch. Will I ever watch this again? Well, probably not. Unless I'm in a group of people that want to watch it and I'm drinking beer. It's probably the only way to ever sit down and watch this again. Let's go on to the negatives. I already said a couple. During the making of this film, one of the reasons Deodato got in trouble, and rightfully so, because there's no reason to do this, all the animal killings on screen were real. They killed animals, and in one instance tore one apart, a turtle, on film and filmed the whole thing. And that also makes the movie a very unpleasant watch. And I'm not a squeamish type. I've done trapping for a living, and I saw, beavers skin of their fur to make hats and coats. So I have seen stuff before, but this on film for no reason to show it. They could have done this with a fake prop, but they did it for real, and that was one of the reasons Deodato got in trouble. So that's one of the big negatives of this film, killing the animals on screen for real. And I know a lot of the cast. I watched an interview with Carl Gabriel York, about a 50-minute interview. It's on YouTube. You can watch it for free. And he even said he was severely uncomfortable when they were doing those things, and he wanted no part of it. But all the animal killings are real, so that is definitely a huge negative against this movie, and Deodato got in a lot of trouble for that. Honestly, this seemed like a filmmaker that wanted to watch the world burn, in the sense of he wanted to just go hardcore, unflinching, show the worst in humanity on screen, and I think he was very successful at it. It's very shocking in moments, and again, it's played dead serious, so there's no joking around. There's no levity to be found here. There's no Art the Clown doing goofy faces to lighten the load a little bit of what's going on. None of that. It's played razor straight. Does it come off a little goofy at times just because of the acting and the way they're filming it? Yeah, a little bit. But it's not ha ha ha. There's no laughs here. It's not so bad. It's funny kind of stuff. And that's kind of what hurts the movie in my eyes. It's not a movie you can just watch 100 times and have a good time with it. It's just not one of those films in my opinion. Principal photography began in June 4th of 1979. All the footage of our film crew that was shot documentary style was shot in 16mm, as you would expect. 10 days after this premiered in Milan, Italy, on February 7th of 1980, the court seized the movie and all the prints, and Deodato was charged with animal cruelty, obscenity, and there was questions about him actually killing the actors on screen. Now, I don't know if he was formally charged, but there was accusations which he brought the actors to court to prove that he did not kill them on screen. And again, if you've never seen this movie, if you've ever decided to watch it, you'll see why he may have been accused of killing people for real, because it looks damn real in a lot of parts. Now, the actors, even Carl Gabriel York, he said it wasn't a very pleasant film set. Deodato was not the nicest at moments, and he pressured the woman that's in this film into doing nudity when she didn't want to. So there was a lot. This wasn't a very pleasant shoot. And it didn't seem like... York said he didn't even have a script. He never saw a script. He went for this interview for this movie, and they said, "You got it." And they sent him on a plane down to Colombia, and they took him out in the desert, this little town, and then finally they took him out in the jungle, and they started shooting scenes before he actually even saw a script. So he had no idea what kind of movie this was. He just went for a ride, and he even said in the interview I watched that there was moments where he thought, are they going to stop with the animals and kill us too? He was unsure himself. And it didn't seem like he was being hyperbolic either. It seemed like he was pretty serious. But yeah, there was a lot of problems on set. Again, it's a very strong movie, I will say that. And again, this was banned in a lot of countries. Some countries unbanned it. It's still banned in certain countries across the world. But you can get it on physical media here in the United States. You can get this DVD from Grindhouse Releasings. It's a legit release. You can get this on 4K if you so shall choose to. But yeah, this is a movie that it's hard to sit through, in all honesty, in my opinion. It's not a fun movie to watch. This is like one of those movies like you can watch it and you can tell people you saw it, but it's one of those movies you could probably never see again and you'd be just fine with that. And I never have it. I wanted to watch it with my son. He really wanted to watch it, and I figured the better place to watch it is with me and instead of with a bunch of his goofball buddies, and so that way we could talk about it after it was over. And he definitely had some questions about it, and we discussed it. And it's something. It's an experience. You don't sit there to watch it. You just experience it. So at the end of the day, what would I rate Cannibal Holocaust? Now, I think the animal killing is putrid and just despicable. And there's some things on screen that I don't find a use for, honestly. There's a lot of brutalization and just violence against women. You can use your imagination. I can't say what it is. But for what they were going for, I can't deny that Donato got some strikingly insane, gruesome imagery on screen. So at the end of the day, I would give Cannibal Holocaust a 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10 for Cannibal Holocaust. If you've ever seen this movie, leave a comment down below. Let me know. What are your thoughts on it? Do you enjoy it? There's no wrong answers here. These are my opinions and my opinions alone. But, you know, it's, again, in a movie, if I never saw it again, I'd be just fine. But I could probably tell you everything that happens in it if you wanted to know, if we had a discussion face to face. So yeah, 6 out of 10 for Cannibal Holocaust. That's it for this one. Until next time, bye.